Hey guys, we are learning in this video how to make an assessment in Mastery Connect. And as you can see, I am here on my home page. And our first step in order to make an assessment is we are going to come here at the top to our toolbar in Mastery Connect and click Assessments. We then go over here to the right to this blue button and click Add Assessment. Once you are at this page, this is where we are making our assessment. And for our PLC's purpose today, I will be making our CFA number 8, which is going to be over the parts of a circle. So it is our new unit, Unit 3. And I've already made this once, so I'm going to use this one as an example, and you'll see it in my tracker today. So for subject, you can see all of the subjects here. And I'm going to select math. And it's important for the core part that whichever subject you're doing, you select the one that is unpacked. And this requires some coordination with your PLC to make sure you're selecting the same core if you're making separate ones. But if we're all sharing the same assessment, it should be unpacked. So Kentucky, there's 2 different options, the unpacked one. And then for class, it's not going to matter as much because you're going to add it to all of the trackers in the end, but I'll select my 3rd period class first. So I'm going to title this Parts of a Circle CFA number 8 example, since I've already made my actual assessment prior to this. And then you do have to put in a description. One thing that I just accidentally skipped over is you also have to select the standard that it ties into. So all of these sections have to be filled out. Otherwise, you're going to get a little red box at the end, and I'm going to kind of show you what that red box looks like. And the standard for us today is going to be this standard right here. It's KY.7.G.4b, which is about the relationship between the radius, diameter, and other parts of a circle. And the nice thing about this is once you've selected your standard, you can view your standard here in more detail. And then you can also customize or reword the standard. So for math, we've got a few standards that are pretty wordy, and you're also able to send reports to parents from Mastery Connect. So in order to reword those very wordy standards, you can customize them here to make them a little different and more parent, guardian, student friendly. So as we go down, we've done the title, we've done the description, and here comes the part where we move on to our assessment. So I've pulled my assessment up here so I can reference it. I've made an assessment. Maybe you've already had an assessment that you used prior years that you would usually print off. The important part is you have to have an assessment that has the questions and your answers, or if it's going to be a open response type answer, you have that on there as well. But for our purposes today, I'm going to show you a multiple choice and multiple select response type of questions. And we have 6 questions total. And so we're going to move over here, and where it says select assessment source, I'm going to upload a file, and I'm going to upload this file so students can see this diagram and they can see the questions as they answer and fill out their bubble sheet. So we're going to choose that. We're going to go down to CFA number 8. And here for privacy, it's important that when you select this, you definitely do not want private to me, because for our purposes at Mastery Connect, you want it to be at least private to my school, at the most private, so that you are able to share with your PLC and look at the data together, share your data, and compare it. And so this is where, for assessment type, you can choose the difference between. We're doing question-based today, but there is also an option for open answers. So if you're doing an on-demand or an ERQ, you can choose that open answer, but we are doing question-based. And so for my first question, I am doing multiple choice, and you can change within your document as well. So I'm going to have 6 questions total. So I'm going to add 6 onto here. And my first 2 questions are multiple choice. My third question is multi-select. So you see here you've got the option for multi-select, true and false. And I'm not sure what these 2 on the bottom are, but I know, rubric scoring, yep. That's for when you add your rubric in. But we've used the first 3, so multiple choice, multi-select, and true and false. So I'm going to have that one be multi-select. And then also, gotta add one more. My 5th one is also multi-select. So I've got 2 multi-select and then 4 multiple choice questions. And now I'm going to go through and add in the correct answers. And students are going to see this bubble sheet on the right-hand side of their screen as they take their assessment. And they're going to see this on the left-hand side. So as they're taking their CFA, they'll see this on the left-hand side, and at the exact same side, they'll see this on the right-hand side. So they can scroll through both and answer. So the correct answer for 1 is going to be D. The correct answer for 2 is going to be B, right? Yes. The correct answer for 3 is going to be multi-select. It's going to be A, B, and D. And see how that lets me select multiple on that one, but on this one it will not, since it's just multiple choice. For 4, the correct answer is going to be E. For 5, it's going to be B and D. And then for 6, the correct answer is B. And so we've gone through, we have selected all of our correct answers, we've filled out everything, and our last thing we need to fill out is our scoring. And so the reason we fill out this is the equivalent of our 4, 3, 2, 1 scale. Exceeds here is how you get a 4. So exceeds means they're getting that 4 or above, a 4 plus, a 3 or above, and then a 2 or above, and then anything under this number you put here is going to be considered a 1. That they got that 65 type score. So for us, we've decided as a PLC that we are going to make a 4 or exceeds mastery a score of a 5 out of 6 or a 6 out of 6, because we've got 6 total points. Met, or a 3 for this one, is going to be 4 total points on this assessment, 4 out of 6. Developing or approaching is what they have listed here. We are going to do 3 total points out of 6, so they've gotten half of them correct, which means if they get a 2 or a 1 or a 0 out of 6 total points correct, they get a 1 on this assessment. And so there's not a way currently to do a 4 plus or 4 minus in here, but that score will translate to their assignment as well. So then you can also go into Infinite Campus or Google Classroom and give them that 4+ or 4- if that is something you want to do. And so here I'm going to show you when we press create assessment, we did forget one thing. And if you forget anything, you're going to get this thing at the top. Please complete all highlighted fields in a bright red color. And so the one thing we forgot is you always have to select this box right here that says assessment is not copyrighted. You're agreeing you did not copyright it or use somebody's materials without their permission. And we can create the assessment. So here's my assessment here. This is not how students will see it. Like I said, they'll see this part on the left-hand side, and they're going to see that bubble sheet on the right. But this is the assessment from my page. And in another video, you've made a team with your PLC or your team, and they're going to come to your assessment that you made because we all take turns making assessments within our PLC, and you're going to add to your tracker from their assessment. You are not going to use these buttons here. Maybe you want to download this so you can use it for other years, but you are not going to use this button. Do not use it. You want to use this blue button right here that says add to tracker. And you can see here the other members of my PLC. But I'm going to select my trackers, which are the equivalent to your classes in Google Classroom, your grade book, and I'm going to add them all to my tracker. And here it is. So here's my 5th period tracker or my grade book. And this is this specific standard. So the standard that talks about the radius, diameter, circumference of a circle. And I already have the original one that I made for the CFA for this upcoming week. And then here's the one that we made today, the example. And you can see it here in my gradebook. I have it here. And when we're ready to assess the students on it. So at this moment, students can log into Clever. They can go to Mastery Connect, but they will not see this in their classroom. And it's set up just like Google Classroom. Once they log into Mastery Connect, they'll see each of their classes. They can click on PEC, and it'll have their assignments in there. But right now, they cannot see it, even though it's in the gradebook on my end. In order for them to see it, you would click Assess here at the top. And this is where you find all of that information. The Assess with Test ID is a good way of doing it only if students were to know their student ID. So they have to have their student ID to do this, even with the test ID. It asks for the test ID and for their student ID, and most students do not know their student ID. So the best way to have them access the test is to log in through Clever, just like they would for Study Island. They can get to a bunch of different things through there. Realize, Savas. So just go in through there, and it's going to be on their main page underneath your class. And in order for them to see it on that main page, you just push this button. So it says Assess with Student Portal, available while the test ID is active, Student Portal. So you see the test ID here right now is active for 7 days. You can customize that. I can say it is active for a month from now, which is usually about the time I do. You can make it custom where you change the date and time, choose the date it's available until. You can make it a year from now, whatever you do. Obviously, I don't actually want my students to do. Make sure you actually press update when you have made that, and it will change to expires in 365 days. And as long as this green button is highlighted, it is available for them to see. So at this moment, this 5th period class can come in to my class right now on Mastery Connect and see this CFA and take it. As soon as I click this off, they now cannot see it anymore. So I'm going to click it off. I'm going to expire this one now because I also have their actual one they're going to take next week. And that is it. That is how you create an assessment, and share it within your PLC, and then also push it to your classroom so that they can see it within Mastery Connect.